Welcome to a return to oneness. My name is Eddie, and I help people open their hearts. Today's discussion comes from the book 40 Days Walking in Oneness, Coming Together in Unity. Day 25, Making the Mind Ready. The quote is from the book Return to Oneness, A Course. O child of God, everything has been made ready for your return. Yet, do not look outside yourself for the return of the Christ, for there is nothing outside your holy mind. Rather, the Christ comes to the mind which has made room for him. Volume 1, Chapter 25, Paragraph 9. There are those in this world who look to the external for the return of Christ, which is known as the second coming. However, have they ever read the words given by the Master Teacher? For it is written that when the Pharisees demanded that Jesus tell them when the kingdom of God should come, he answered, "The kingdom of God cometh not with observation, neither shall they say, Lo here, or Lo there, for behold, the kingdom of God is within you." There is so much given in that one statement made by Jesus nearly 2,000 years ago. First and foremost, he was telling us not to look to the external for the kingdom, and that includes the second coming. For the coming of the kingdom cannot be seen with the eyes. Second, Jesus clearly instructs that heaven is within each of us, and since it is within us, then we are heaven. And finally, he never gave an answer with regards to the time frame that the Pharisees were seeking. But why is this? The answer is really quite simple. Jesus could not give an answer regarding a time when the kingdom would come, because if he had, he would have made time real, and time, like all the illusions that are formed within it, is not real. Only eternity is. Since the coming of the kingdom cannot be observed, then how will we know it has arrived? Simply put, we will feel it because we have called it to us. Yet, how do we call the kingdom to us? We call heaven, which is but our true self, to us by simply becoming willing. Through this willingness, we will innately turn within. Then, we will be guided and directed to purify the mind. This isn't as hard as it might appear, for purification of the mind is nothing more than removing the false beliefs, the false narrative we have created about ourselves. These false beliefs are the obstacles which stand between us and the truth of our being. Therefore, we prepare our mind for the coming of the Christ by clearing all of the false beliefs which have been made. And these false beliefs have served nothing but to keep the truth hidden from us. O divine child, each mind must prepare itself for the return of Christ before the Christ can be made known to it. Look not to the external for his coming, for you will never see him. Instead, you must turn within, where the truth has always been. You must clear all of the obstacles that stand between you and love. And when love returns to your mind, wholly and without reservation, then the Prince of Peace, the Christ himself, will come down into your mind. Thus the clouds will part, which are nothing but the fog of illusions, will begin to dissipate, and in that glorious moment you will recognize he who returns. For it will be an old friend, one you thought you had forgotten. Then in a moment of pure joy you will recognize him. It will be but yourself, the holy self created by God, the self that remains just as God created it. People have been taught that Jesus is coming with God's fiery sword of vengeance and rage. They have been taught that the heavens will open and Jesus will come riding a white horse with an army of angels behind him. Yet, what they do not know is they will never see this. For in truth, the eyes were never made to see what is real, what is eternal. And Jesus the Christ is eternal. Therefore, you cannot see the return of the Christ. You must prepare your mind for the return. And that return is the second coming. Yes, there is a second coming, as foretold in the Bible. But it is not the second coming that is so prevalently taught in the churches. Instead, it is simply the opening of the heart, where the heart and mind can unite and become one. And in that union, the space has been made ready for the return of Christ. And in the twinkling of an eye, in that most holy of moments, the Christ will descend and take up his rightful place. Yet, the Christ is not separate from you, for the Christ is you. It is your true self. It is the self, the holy self, created by God, by the one who is everything. Do not look outside of yourself for the second coming. You won't ever see it. And you will feel lost and alone, wondering why he doesn't come. Instead, let this be the day that you turn within and make the choice to purify your mind of all of the false beliefs, the judgments, and the grievances which stand between you and the truth of yourself. Release all attachments. Forgive anyone or anything that you hold a resentment with. And when the mind has been purified, the fog of illusions, the cloud of illusions will separate, and the Christ will descend, and you will remember who and what you are in truth. And in that most glorious and joyous moment, you can declare, just as Jesus did, I and the Father are one. Then you will be home. You will know the truth once again. Thank you for listening. Peace, love, and joy to all.